Simon Ekpa, Prime Minister of Biafra, has been detained in Finland under harsh conditions, including solitary confinement, based on allegations of terrorism and crimes against humanity. These charges are reportedly instigated by the Nigerian and Cameroonian governments. Norway and Finland are accused of acting on unverified information provided by Nigeria and Cameroon, countries known for human rights abuses. This is viewed as part of a political quid pro quo arrangement. Biafra claims these allegations and detentions are part of a larger plot by the Nigerian government to suppress their fight for self-determination and independence. The Nigerian government is described as a terrorist state, accused of supporting extremist groups, marginalizing Biafrans, and conducting massacres in Biafra territories. Biafra has conducted a self-referendum with over 50 million votes in favor of independence and redeclared itself an independent state. They demand the withdrawal of Nigerian forces from Biafra territory. Finland is criticized for alleged racial bias in its handling of Simon Ekpa's case, with claims of harsher treatment for black individuals fighting for freedom. The Organization of Emerging African States is advocating for Biafra leader Simon Ekpa and Ambazonian leader Lucas Cho Yaba, calling for international scrutiny and referral of Nigerian and Cameroonian actions to the International Criminal Court. Detainees associated with Biafra have reportedly faced mistreatment, financial losses, and health risks while in Finnish custody, further intensifying tensions. Biafra demands the immediate release of Simon Ekpa and other detainees, urging Finland and Norway to cease actions that support Nigeria's oppressive regime. Biafra pledges to continue its fight for self-determination, including raising funds for self-defense against Nigerian military aggression, while urging the global community to recognize their sovereignty. Imagine being a leader who has been at the forefront of a fight for independence, a struggle to regain the freedom your people deserve. You're passionate, you're committed, and you believe with all your heart that what you're doing is right. You do everything you can to stand up for your people, to raise awareness, to lead a cause that's greater than yourself. Then one day, you wake up and everything changes. You're locked away, separated from your people, your supporters, and the cause you're fighting for. This is the story of Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of Biafra, who has found himself in just such a situation. Simon Ekpa, a prominent figure in the Biafran independence movement, was detained in Finland under harsh conditions. The charges against him, including accusations of terrorism and crimes against humanity, are both serious and controversial. These claims stem from the Nigerian and Cameroonian governments, which have long been at odds with the Biafran people. The allegations are based on accusations that Simon Ekpa and others in the Biafran movement are involved in terrorist activities, charges that have caused an uproar within the Biafran community and beyond. But here's the thing. Many of us know that the Nigerian government in particular is no stranger to human rights abuses. For years, the Nigerian government has been accused of oppressing and marginalizing the Biafran people. So, when these charges came from Nigerian authorities, many were quick to question their legitimacy. And what's worse, Finland, alongside Norway, seem to be acting on unverified information provided by Nigeria and Cameroon, which are countries with histories of supporting questionable and brutal practices. Was it all part of a bigger political deal? Many think so. But Simon Ekpa's story is not just about him. It's a symbol of the larger fight for Biafran independence, a fight that has been going on for decades. The Nigerian government is accused of being a terrorist state, responsible for a number of atrocities against the Biafran people. There have been countless massacres in Biafra, with the government using military forces to silence dissent and crush the desire for self-determination. And then there's the self-referendum conducted by the Biafran people. Over 50 million people, both in Biafra and across the globe, voted for independence. The people of Biafra declared themselves an independent state once again, demanding that Nigeria withdraw its forces from their land. But despite these massive public displays of support, the Nigerian government refuses to acknowledge the will of the people. And now, with Simon Ekpa's detention in Finland, it seems like the world is turning a blind eye to their fight. But it doesn't stop there. There's a growing sense of frustration among the Biafran people that Finland is unfairly targeting their leaders. It's been said that there are racial biases at play here, especially when it comes to how Finland is handling cases involving black individuals fighting for freedom. The accusations against Simon Ekpa and even his treatment while in detention have sparked outrage. Finland has been accused of playing a part in the oppression of the Biafran people, something that many find deeply troubling. But there's more to this story than just Simon Ekpa's case. There are others who have faced similar mistreatment. Detainees associated with the Biafran movement have reported facing harsh treatment, financial losses, and health risks while in custody in Finland. These experiences have only intensified the tensions and the urgency of the situation. The Biafran people are calling for Simon Ekpa's immediate release, as well as the release of all other detainees held in connection with the Biafran independence movement. They want the governments of Finland and Norway to stop supporting the oppressive regime of Nigeria and to stand up for the rights of the Biafran people. But even in the face of such adversity, the Biafran people have not given up. They continue to fight for self-determination despite the heavy odds stacked against them. They have not let the actions of the Nigerian government, nor the treatment of their leaders in foreign countries, silence them. In fact, they have pledged to continue their struggle, even if it means raising funds for self-defense against the aggressive actions of the Nigerian military. The Biafran people want the world to recognize their sovereignty, to acknowledge their right to self-determination, and to support their quest for independence. In a statement from the Organization of Emerging African States, or OEAS, the international community was called upon to scrutinize the actions of the Nigerian and Cameroonian governments. The OEAS strongly believes that the actions of these governments are designed to suppress the Biafran independence movement, and that they are using countries like Finland and Norway to further their goals. The OEAS also called for the referral of Nigerian and Cameroonian actions to the International Criminal Court, suggesting that these governments should be held accountable for their alleged crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. The mistreatment of detainees, including Simon Ekpa, is not just about individual cases. It's part of a larger, systematic effort to suppress a people's right to self-determination. It's about silencing a movement and ensuring that those who fight for freedom are crushed under the weight of international politics and power struggles. The Biafran people are no strangers to this battle. For years, they've fought to reclaim their independence from Nigeria, to assert their rights, and to have their voices heard. But now, with the international community's involvement, the stakes have become even higher. Simon Ekpa's lawyer recently broke his silence, speaking out about the conditions of Ekpa's detention in Finland and the larger issues at play. The lawyer emphasized that Simon Ekpa, as well as other Biafran leaders like Lucas Cho Yaba, who was also detained in Norway on similar charges, are not criminals. They are simply fighting for their people's freedom. And yet, the governments of Finland and Norway have chosen to act on unverified and potentially false information provided by two governments with a long history of oppression and human rights abuses. The lawyer also highlighted the way the Nordic countries have seemingly played a role in suppressing the Biafran movement through their detainment of its leaders and the harsh conditions they face while in custody. These actions, the lawyer argued, are part of a larger political scheme orchestrated by the Nigerian and Cameroonian governments. The Biafran people are once again caught in the crossfire of global politics, a struggle that has nothing to do with justice or the truth, and everything to do with maintaining the status quo of power. It's clear that this situation is about more than just Simon Ekpa. It's about the Biafran people and their right to self-determination. It's about the ongoing fight for independence and the lengths that some governments will go to in order to crush that fight. The Organization of Emerging African States, along with other international advocates, are calling for an end to the mistreatment of Biafran leaders and detainees, urging Finland and Norway to reconsider their stance and to stand up for human rights and justice. As the story unfolds, the Biafran people are determined to continue their struggle. They are not backing down, even in the face of great adversity. They are committed to seeing their movement through, and they will not let the actions of foreign governments deter them from their goal of independence. They know that their fight is far from over, but they also know that they are not alone. They have supporters, both at home and abroad, who are willing to stand with them, to raise their voices, and to demand justice for the people of Biafra. And so the fight continues. It's a fight for freedom, for justice, and for the future of the Biafran people. It's a fight that has been going on for decades, and it's a fight that will not end until the people of Biafra are free to determine their own destiny. The world is watching, and the Biafran people are ready to make their voices heard. As the days pass, the tension around Simon Ekpa's detention continues to mount. The international community is watching with bated breath, unsure of what will happen next. The struggle for Biafran independence is not just a local issue. It has taken on an international dimension. People across the world, especially those with roots in Biafra, are raising their voices and standing in solidarity with the detained leader. They believe that Simon Ekpa's arrest is just another example of how international powers, often without understanding the full scope of the issue, get involved in conflicts they may not fully comprehend. These supporters are demanding that Finland release Simon Ekpa immediately, arguing that his detention is a violation of human rights.
Today, I'm here in the capacity of a representative of the Organization of Emerging African States. That's the international governmental organization that Biafra is a founding member of in 2011. And the Organization of Emerging African States is highly concerned about the continued detention of the Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa. And we have therefore had a board meeting, and we've done an investigation of his detention, as well as the detention of Biafra's best ally, Ayaba Cho Lucas of Amazonia, who is also detained on similar charges in Norway. And we've looked into this, and the Organization of Emerging African States has come to some conclusions, and we're issuing a public declaration today regarding your Prime Minister, as well as Ayaba Lucas Cho. There's these two cases are linked. As you know, Prime Minister Ekpa was taken into custody by the Finland authorities, and he remains there under investigation. What you may not know is the conditions of his detention are very harsh. Solitary confinement. His access to the outside world is limited. So we know this because we have debriefed 3 of the other 4 detainees who have since been released. There's very serious concerns on the part of OEAS about how they were treated. So this was done, and we believe the conditions that Cho are imprisoned under in Norway are quite similar. In Norway and Finland, of course, they could imprison people, detain people, they call it, on remand, almost indefinitely while they continue to investigate the allegations. The main concern, besides the conditions of imprisonment of the OEAS, which we are very distressed about, the main concern is how these allegations against Cho and Ekpa came about, and who was behind these allegations. Was it the government of Finland and Norway? No, they are complicit in this, but we know that in August, a delegation of Nordic ministers, including the foreign minister of Finland, went to Abuja, where they met with representatives of Nigerian government and ECOWAS. And at that time, it was noted that in the Nigerian press, the foreign minister of Finland was quoted as saying that she would soon have Simon Ekpa arrested. Now, at the time, the prime minister was aware of that, and we just kind of wrote that off. Simon Ekpa, he's an EU citizen. This cannot happen. This is just the Nigerian press. But what was that meeting about, of the Nordic ministers and the Nigerians in ECOWAS? Well, it had to do with political and economic favors that were being exchanged. And shortly thereafter, of course, Lucas Ayabacho was arrested in Norway in August. And again, we thought, well, maybe that's just a coincidence. But now we see Simon Ekpa arrested in November of this year on similar charges. So it's clear that this is a quid pro quo situation. It has the appearance here, the OEAS, that Norway and Finland were promised favors by the Nigerian and Cameroonian governments. And in exchange for those favors, they were to deliver up, or at least take out of circulation, neutralize Simon Ekpa and Ayaba Lucas Cho. So, and that is indeed what happened, and that is indeed the appearance here. And I might point out, both Ekpa and Cho are EU citizens of Finland and Germany. That did not matter. They are sitting there in solitary confinement right now, facing charges. Now, what are the charges? Well, very similar. In the case of Cho in Norway, it is something to do with instigating crimes against humanity using the internet or some nonsense like that. And in the case of the prime minister, similar charges, except they're throwing the word terrorism about, that they're investigating. Somehow he's involved with terrorism. They don't even, specify what the terrorist organization is or what's going on with that. So the allegations are coming directly from the oppressors, from Cameroon and Nigeria. And both Cameroon and Nigeria are well-known human rights abusers. Of course, I don't need to tell you as Biafrans what has happened in Biafra and Nigeria as a whole in the last 20 years. I don't need to tell you what's going on in neighboring Ambazonia for the last 5 years or more. How many people have been killed? How many people are killed each year in Nigeria? This is a fact. Yet, Finland and Norway are taking the allegations from these two countries that are the human rights abusers. So we have a lot of concern about the source of the allegations, because if there are human rights abuses, it is the direct fault of Nigeria. It's the direct fault of Cameroon. If people are defending themselves after years of being subjugated to this, that is the fault of the oppressing governments. That's not a crime. So we have a concern, and of course it's not like Norway and Finland don't know the circumstances. As you know, there was a large report issued a few months ago about the deaths of Christians in Nigeria over the last few years. But yet they're taking the information from the Nigerian government. And we see General Musa making the head of the Nigerian armed forces, making public pronouncements just in the last few weeks that he will neutralize Simon Ekpa, remove him from circulation. And we see the state governors in Nigeria saying the same thing, making new allegations against Simon Ekpa. And we see their mouthpieces in the Nigerian press and the provocateurs that are part of the security system making the same allegations. So OEAS is very concerned that the governments of Norway and Finland are conducting an investigation based on information that is solely provided by human rights abusers. The people who are responsible for the crimes are the ones who are accusing Simon Ekpa of the crime. So we're concerned about that. and we're coming forward with our declaration, which is in the hands of the DPM, and which we will be distributing worldwide in the next few days. We also are suggesting that if Finland and Norway are really doing an investigation of what is going on in Cameroon and Nigeria and Amazonia and Biafra, that when they do actually discover war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity, which we know have happened, but those crimes are being committed by the agents and armed forces of Cameroon and Nigeria. And therefore, we're telling Norway and Finland that they need to refer the matter of the crimes being committed by Nigeria and Cameroon to the International Criminal Court, which has the appropriate level of expertise to evaluate these crimes. So this is what's being done on the international level. And again, the victims of this are holding themselves up. We've talked to some of the people, the detainees who've been released, and they've comported themselves in a heroic manner. So I want you to know, Biafra is not standing alone. It has friends on the international level, and we will be distributing this worldwide and calling out the governments of Nigeria and Cameroon, who are the ones who have instigated the arrest of Simon Ekpa and Lucas Ayabacho.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Attorney Levy, for that summary of what is going on and some clarifications needed. And we think very happy it's going to be taken from the level of the OEAS to let the world know what is going on. And Biafrans are very happy for your help and what you do. Again, this injustice, we have to call it out and give it the name that it is. Again, thank you. Let me start by, again, thanking and welcoming all Biafrans that are here. And first, I would like to let the world know that our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, is not a terrorist. Neither is Cho Ayaba, the Amazonian leader. They are only fighting for the freedom of their people. They are only fighting to free their citizens from the terrorist states of Nigeria and Cameroon. Nigeria is a terrorist state. The terrorism that goes on in Nigeria today is being perpetuated and is being encouraged by the policies of Nigerian leaders currently led by President Tinubu. The programs, the policies they have in place, such as the reintegration and rehabilitation of known terrorists, have increased terrorism in Nigeria. The master plan to Islamize Nigeria has made these reintegrated terrorists to be sent to places like the Biafra land, where they now kill innocent Biafrans who do not wish to be Islamized by the Nigerian state. That is what is going on. The plot by the Nigerian president and the Nigerian government to take away our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa, has contributed to a lot of deaths in Biafra land. The essence of this press conference today is to let the world know and to let Biafrans know that the fight for our freedom, the fight to be free, the fight for us to rule ourselves is continuously being destroyed, being undermined, being plotted against by the Nigerian government, using different avenues to do this. one of the avenues they've used to do this is to plan with the with the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Secretary of State, whom Tinubu recently appointed, to plan to complain with the Finnish embassy in Nigeria to remove our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, just weeks before our declaration in Finland. Nigeria orchestrated this. Nigeria planned this. Using the Foreign Affairs Secretary of State, they appointed minister. And they were able to work closely with Finland, with the Finnish authorities, to remove our Prime Minister just weeks before the declaration of our independence in Lahti, Finland. Their plot is, by removing our Prime Minister, we are not going to be able to declare our independence in Finland. They succeeded in removing our Prime Minister weeks before our declaration. But we Biafrans, we were resolute. And we were able to still redeclare Biafra. We did that in Finland on November 29th, 2024. Another way, the Nigerian state, who the whole world knows, Nigerian state that have continued to subjugate Biafrans, that have continued to kill innocent citizens of Biafra, have continued to marginalize Biafrans, have continued to destroy and block our self-determination, is by sending their reintegrated terrorists into the Biafra territory to continue to kill our people, kill innocent citizens just for mentioning Biafra, just for our belief, just for fighting for our freedom. I want the world to know Nigeria is a terrorist state, and they have their tentacles spread across the world. Finland has become one of the stooges being used by the Nigerian government and Norway to suppress our rights as individuals, to suppress our freedom, to suppress our self-determination. How else could Finland keep our Prime Minister for this long while you are carrying out an investigation? We see some racist tendencies in this plot and in this plan to continue to detain a Finnish resident on the claims and on the purported crime that Nigeria state, that is known for terrorism and supporting terrorism, killing Christians, mass burying individuals in all parts of Nigeria, but in Borno State, in Zamfara State, in Kaduna State, in Lagos State, in Southeast, in South-South, in Ehamufu, in Azambo, in Onisha, in Aba. There have been mass massacre of innocent citizens by the Nigerian state. Nobody is accounting for this. In most cases, the president makes no speech about that. The ministers working with him makes no speeches about that. The January killings of 2025, where innocent Biafrans were killed in their homes in Biafra territory in Southeast Nigeria. The Nigerian government has refused, has not said anything about that. The Southeast governors, South-South governors, none of them is talking about that. How can a people continue to keep quiet when their people are being killed and massacred daily? And Finland and Norway, you want to become part of this? You want to become part of this crime to continue to play a role in this system? That is something we will never accept. Another way they try to do this is to break the spirit of Biafrans. Just on the mere lies the Nigerian government has given them. The Nigerian state has given all these fabricated lies against us. So it's not even about Simon Ekpa. It's not even about Chua Yaba. It is about the plan, the continued plan by the Nigerian government and the ministers that work under them to continue to suppress the freedom of the Biafrans, to continue to kill us, using different avenues they have across the globe to do this. We want to bring it to the attention of the world that any foreign government that is participating in this criminality against the Biafran people or innocent citizens or the Amazonians that have the right to self-determination, that foreign government is part of the crime. From terrorism to fundraising to whatever, to instigation. Why should Finland continue to hold our prime minister, reprimand him all these months when no crime has been established? Yes, you can say that it is the law in Finland to do that. But are you going to do the same thing if that citizen was a white citizen? If racism is not playing a part? There have been documentaries about the role Finland has been playing recently to subjugate and to intimidate blacks who are fighting for their freedom. This is one example right here in front of us. Our Prime Minister has committed no crime. Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is not a terrorist. Our Prime Minister has committed no financial crime. All he has done is exactly what millions of Biafrans are doing every single day, which is for us to rule ourselves. We have the freedom, we have the rights to do that. We've conducted a self-referendum where over 50 million Biafrans, both at home and abroad, has voted for us to exit Nigeria. The continuation plot by Finland to continue to listen to Nigeria and be the one investigating on behalf of Nigeria for the reports Nigeria gave to them, and then in that same angle continue to hurt innocent Biafrans is unacceptable. It is totally unacceptable. I've been able and had the opportunity to talk, just like Attorney Levy has said, the Biafran citizens that were held by the Finland government. We are in these individuals who are said at the same time with our Prime Minister. We've heard their story. We've heard the intimidation. We've heard how their businesses were affected and destroyed within the period that they were held by the Finland government. And yet, at the end, no crime was established against them. These are innocent Biafrans that the Finland government picked from their homes, destroyed their businesses by blocking their accounts, blocking their source of income for months. And at the end, no crime was established on these individuals except what was your relationship with Biafra? What were you doing? How do you know Simon Ekpa? How were you donating? How is this a crime? And Finland can fall so low to listen to Nigerian government to continue to perpetuate this heinous crime against Biafrans. Because of the lies that was sent to Finland and then Norway by extension. One of these individuals almost lost his life because of the way he was locked up inside the van. Finland police used to arrest him. It was so small. The guy was panting for breath. He couldn't breathe until he started banging on the door. And they have to open that to let fresh air come in. So he would have been dead. Why must Finland continue to instigate this suppression and tampering with individuals' basic human right from the instigation they get from the Nigerian government? Why must Finland play a role in this kind of injustice? This is not acceptable. This must stop. The Nigerian terrorist state, the defense chief, Christopher Musa, has publicly come out to tell the world that Nigeria is fighting an asymmetrical war with Biafra, Finland and Norway and the world. What is asymmetrical war? That means Nigerian government has continued to kill innocent Biafrans just because they want their freedom. It is on public domain. So Finland cannot claim or say they do not know there is a war, a silent war currently going on between Biafra and Nigeria. Finland cannot claim ignorance of that. The killings going on in Biafra territory, the killings going on in different parts of Nigeria. Finland has that information. Why do you continue to pretend as if you do not know what is going on or what the Nigerian state is capable of doing? How are you facilitating the torture and killing of Biafrans by the Nigerian government? The world knows. The world knows how Christians have been murdered in Nigeria. Biafrans are Christians. And the Nigerian government is not doing anything to protect the lives and properties of innocent individuals. Nigeria is a failed state. Why should Finland and Norway continue to toe the path of going with a failed state when you should be on the path of freedom, justice? Finland, you fought a brutal war to be free today where you are. Knowing what you know and what you did. How and why should you pretend as if you don't know what the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is doing? Rather, you are listening to the terrorist state of Nigeria and all the lies that they told you. And based on that, you are restricting him. And you also took our innocent brothers and sisters, our innocent Biafran brothers, and you locked them up in solitary confinement. Why should you lock people up in a solitary confinement based on the report that Nigeria terrorist state government has given you, Finland? Why should that happen? That is not acceptable. If Nigeria is using asymmetrical war to kill our people, we have the right to defend ourselves. We have the right to self-determination. We have the right to self-defense. And how do you think we are going to do that? You think we are going to do that by using woods and using brooms to face and attack terrorists that are armed with AK-47 coming into Biafra land? Is that what you would encourage your own citizens to do, Finland and Norway? That is why we raise funds. We will continue to raise funds for self-defense. We will continue to raise funds for self-determination. We will continue to raise funds to confront the terrorists that are sent by Nigerian government, the reintegrated terrorists that are sent by Nigerian government to come to our homes and kill us. We will continue to do that. And at this time, Biafra is an independent nation. And we want you to know that any Nigeria reintegrated terrorist wearing Nigerian military uniform or police, they must leave Biafra land, because we have declared our independence. We have redeclared the independence we had between 1967 and 1970. United States of Biafra at this point is a sovereign state, and we will continue to do everything within the right of a sovereign state to be free from the terrorist state of Nigeria. We request the immediate release of our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Your continuous holding of our Prime Minister has caused deaths of innocent citizens in Biafra, Finland. And you will be held accountable for these innocent lives that are being lost in Biafra land because of your continued incarceration of our Prime Minister. I want to also use this opportunity to tell Nigeria to withdraw all their military and police and security in Biafra. We have our Biafra map. The map of the 40 states of Biafra is well established. The geographical area of Biafra territory is well established. We've conducted our self-referendum where over 50 million Biafrans have voted to exit Nigeria and be an independent nation. We have our allies that we are working with closely that have supported the independent state of Biafra. We are calling on the Nigerian government and the Nigerian state to know that Biafra, United States of Biafra, is an independent nation. We demand the withdrawal of all Nigerian military and police troops inside the Biafra territory. I also want to use this opportunity to encourage Biafrans to please desist from speculations and rumors. Some of the speculations and rumors you've heard recently, we don't need it at this time. Our Prime Minister does not need these distractions at this time. We want every Biafran. I encourage any Biafran that is engaging in such distractions, in such rumors on Twitter to desist from doing that immediately. The government does not need those distractions at this time. Our focus at this time is to ensure we submit all the necessary papers of Biafra as a free nation to all the right tables and continue to that we do everything possible within our right, within our power as an independent nation to ensure that our Prime Minister is free from the hands of Finland, working somehow on behalf of the Nigeria terrorist state. That is our focus at this time. I encourage all Biafrans to be focused. Please do not listen to all these speculations and rumors flying on social media. They are not facts. They do not exist. And our Prime Minister do not need it at this time. He needs some peace in all the things we are doing. When people continue to engage in all these unproductive speculations on social media, you play into the hand of the Nigeria terrorist state, because that is what they are looking for, and we will never give it to them. So those of you that engage in such, I encourage you to desist from doing such. I thank all Biafrans who who have listened today to this press briefing. And as our Attorney Levy has said, we're going to issue all these publications across the globe. Part of the government, we are doing everything possible to stabilize our country, United States of Biafra, in all ramifications, putting the right papers on the right tables, hopeful that very soon we will all be going home to our cherished motherland. Nothing can stop that. The protection of our land, of our country, is a task all of us are going to be involved in. Everyone that truly is a genuine Biafran must be involved in. And that is what we continue to do. That brings us to the end of this press briefing. Thank you so much, Biafrans, and thank you so much, everyone. Attorney Levy, I don't know if you have any other thing to add before we close this press conference. Thank you so much. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
God bless you, Honorable COS, DPM.
Thank you so much. I was trying to see if Attorney Levy has any other thing to in before we close the press conference for today. All right. On that note, again, we thank all Biafrans. I thank you all for your presence. I thank you for your time. I thank Attorney Levy for coming in to give this highlight. And we hope very soon, very, very soon, our Prime Minister is going to be with us. And we will continue to work towards the final restoration of the United States of Biafra. On that note, I thank you all.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.